Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a very good update of a 34-week scan that turned into emergency C-section and, having two babies today. We've got our Kalia, our first twin, and we've got Axo, our second twin, which are happily sleeping at the moment. And we're very, very proud because they've been very strong little twinnies. So very surprisingly, on the 25th of April, I had a scan to attend to, just a normal scan. Our babies were due 3rd of June, but because twins 37 weeks, they were meant to be delivered, which was fallen down to 13, the week of 13th of May. We wanted to deliver them on 17th of May, which was the 37th week. And I had my 34-week scan on the 25th of April.
So we came in yesterday to do our 34-week scan, and we originally had planned that we were going to do a video once we came back to basically, give you all an update and everything. But the issue was, this one ended up getting admitted. Absolute disaster. So basically, they did the scan and they noticed that twin 2, baby boy, had a few complications, and his tube was showing like a little bit of a blockage, which could basically mean lack of food or lack of blood going through. But on a good note, they were both similar weight. She was just 5% bigger, whereas usually he's bigger than her. So as well as they're both head down now, so they're both basically ready. They're getting rearing to go. But the issue was the Addy the other night heard like a noise, and she feels as though that's when little boy's moved, and then she started to feel like lack of movement on her right hand side, whereas the left hand side where little girl is was alright. So in the end they ended up admitting her, because as well as little girl's heart rate was really high, it was like hitting 174, 175, whereas usually 160. Anything above that can be pretty bad. So they wanted to keep an eye on her as well. And Addy's blood pressure was through the roof. She was hitting like 190, which was like ridiculous. So they came in, we monitored her, we put her on this machine, which is like a CTG machine, and it basically just monitors baby's heartbeats. And basically they did all that, but again, it didn't meet criteria. Believe me, you and me, we basically have been on this machine over the past few months about 3 times. Each time it never meets, and it's always little boy. And in the end, the consultant has to make a plan off whether or not you want to send us home and, come up with an action. So usually we've always been sent back and it's been fine. But this time, basically they did it didn't meet, so they said, right, we're admitting you. So she got admitted, and then they decided to perform another one again on the ward at midnight. So I stayed with her as well on this lovely chair. So basically she got admitted. They did all that again. It didn't meet, and then in the end they spoke to another doctor and they said, we'll just do it in the morning, go to sleep. So she rested. The next day, today, now, we woke up, went to put her onto the monitor again, and basically the doctors came round and they basically just stated they're not happy with, what's happened with twin 2. They know that they've caught it early days, but if they leave it any longer, it could get worse. So basically now they turn around to us and they've said to us, right, we're going to be putting you on steroids. So she's been given a dose of steroid in her leg, like an injection, which is about this big. She's not happy. And in another 10 hours she's going to be having another 12 hours, another injection at about 10 o'clock tonight. This basically injection for steroids is going to help the baby's lungs. And then basically we have been told that she will be giving birth tomorrow via C-section, because they don't believe that baby boy, twin 2, will be able to withstand natural birth, basically. And they just want to, be safe, cut off all of them possibilities that may happen, and basically just be able to get them out. So we are booked in for C-section tomorrow. We don't have a clue what time as of yet, but it'll be sometime tomorrow. Apparently we've been told we're going to have a big, huge amount of people with us, team, which will probably be about probably in the 20s amount of people, due to the fact it's twins, and obviously with it being a C-section and everything, which is fine, the more the merrier, and keep everybody happy and safe. Doctor came round before and she had to sign some consent forms, basically, you know, the way they have to go over all the rules, the rights, and what could go wrong and what's basically to happen. So obviously it can be a bit scary, but that's fine. We've got each other, and you know, we just want to make sure everything's all right. Obviously we know that there is risks, but this is the chance that we have to take. We have to get them out one way or the other, and right now this is the only option she has. So other than that, we are sat in here now. She's just had some lunch, wasn't very good, wouldn't recommend the lasagna, and now we're just waiting.
The doctor said it's safer for the babies to be out at the moment because there's clearly some kind of distress going on. And they wouldn't just sit and wait to see if he's feeding well and continue growing. They just rather, because I'm so further into the pregnancy, they just prefer, they're big enough. Both of them are like nearly 2.5 kilograms, so.
Which is about £5 if you convert it. But they've also said as well, once they come out, if need be, they might have to put them on a neonatal ward, which is basically to monitor them. Fingers crossed everything will be fine. They've said they might actually be alright. Some babies, like singular babies or twin babies, can come out at this size. Like specifically me, I came out 4 weeks early and I was £5 which is basically similar to these. So,
2.5 kilograms. Yeah.
And Addy was the same as well. So we're just hoping everything will be fine. We think it will be. We think they're little cheeky fighters, like their wee mummy. But yeah, so we're now here waiting. But we'll keep you updated. If you have any questions, please drop us a comment below.
And subscribe because it's free.
Yes, and please keep us in your thoughts. Bye.
So, I went with my mum to this appointment just for a scan, a routine scan. And on the scan, the lady just says, twin two's umbilical cord is a bit, there's a bit of pressure into it or something. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just sometimes when they move, they press a bit the umbilical cord, and that's it. So after that, I go to the twin clinic midwife, and she's got the report, and she's speaking to me, and she goes, "How are you doing? Let's see your blood pressure." And I'm like, "I'm alright. It's just getting like really difficult now. It's very heavy, etc., etc." And she goes, "Okay, no worries. I can see that the twin two umbilical cord's got a bit too much pressure on it. The flow is not great. But let's catch your blood pressure." So my blood pressure was quite high. It's 180 on 110, which is quite surprising because you don't feel that. You just feel normal. And she said his umbilical cord and her heart rate was very high. Like, okay, 170, yeah. So something's not quite right. But at that point, I was not worried. I did not think I would deliver. Well, in the back of my head, I had something. Like, oh, yeah. And at that point, she goes, "We're just going to have to get you upstairs and hook you up on the monitors to make sure these two are okay." And I'm saying, "Yeah, that's fine. That's just the usual, you know, because twin pregnancy is risky. And you just need to make sure babies are okay and you're okay." So, and we're walking up. She goes, "I'll walk you up." And she walks with me and my mum. And she's trying to check us into the, you know, MAT or whatever it is in the Liverpool Women's mat or something. Yeah. And she just says to me, "Where is Georgia? Where's your partner? Where's your wife?" And I'm like, I'm like, I always said she's at work, but she's available to come anytime. And she goes, "Okay." And at that point, I thought Claire was our midwife, the best midwife, by the way, from the Liverpool Women's Twin Clinic. As soon as she said that, I thought something's not right here. If she's basically told me get Georgia here. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is something's going on here. Can you see you? Can I see you? Yeah. So we're upstairs just waiting. Claire went then, the midwife. I'm waiting with my mum, and we're getting checked in. And I just rang Georgia and I said, "You have to come," because I didn't say you have to come. I said his umbilical cord struggling. Her heart is it is very high, and I'm getting put on the monitors. You have to be here.
Well, she goes, it's not to worry about it yet. You don't have to come yet, but I need to make you aware. And then we finished the phone call and we put off the phone down. And then Georgia's in her head sitting upstairs working and goes, yeah, no, I'm coming.
Yeah,
Leaves it down,
it was just
jumps the taxi, off we go.
in my head. I was thinking, I hope she comes. I hope she comes straight away.
Definitely. And it also made me think as well because Addy said that Claire had asked, where was I?
Yeah.
And she also said that I'll walk you up. So they do it very discreetly. I have a feeling like she's walking her up because she doesn't want to, I don't know, maybe because her blood pressure is really high. She doesn't want it to collapse. She doesn't want to have, like, you know, a worried feeling while she's by herself just with her mum overthinking things. So I have a feeling they were like really watchful, like wanting to keep an
You
eye.
don't want to scare me.
Yeah, they wanted to keep an eye on her every step because as soon as you go into that place where they're going to be monitoring as well, you're constantly being monitored, watched as well. So I think at that point Claire was like, I'm not leaving her alone.
Exactly. So, but there was no panic. I think they're very professional about that and very well trained to not scare the mother
Yeah, they
or
just
anyone around.
smile.
Yeah. And so I got hooked up on the monitors. And of course, they couldn't catch the two heart rates because we've got twins and they're laying next to each other very close. So it's been like on and off all the time. Not enough data, not enough data, not enough data. So this is like hour after hour.
We also found though that the twins' heart rates were extremely similar. Like even
Which
the
is
doctors
very rare.
were like, no, it's not like that. It's rare. It wouldn't happen. Just keep trying and trying. We'd never meet criteria. So in the end, they clicked and they were like, oh yeah, look, it's two separate heartbeats. You've got like one at 140 and one at 150. So they're like, that's perfect. It's on. A minute later, they'd
They
come
meet
together
exactly.
again. They'd meet and then they go off again. So they were like, wow, they're very in sync.
So they keep thinking that they're catching just the one twin's heart rate rather than the two. However, eh, the doctor just said is basically, listen, we're not happy with this. We're gonna have to admit you tonight. So this is the 25th of April. Got admitted for that night. My mum went in because in this part of the hospital you can only have one visitor with you. So my mum got sent home, and I was with Georgia at that point. Georgia arrived,
I got dragged.
yeah. And we got admitted that night, and we stayed there. And what is that? Friday morning,
Trying to even remember.
I know we get moved left, right, all the different departments. We got to this uh, ward where women already had the babies and
Yeah.
barely slept because babies are crying, and you know it was a very busy ward with like five
Such
mothers.
a nice experience as well because we knew that ours were eventually going to come. We didn't know they were going to come, you know, during this time, but we knew they were going to come. So seeing newborns, we were a bit like, oh, oh, and then hearing them cry, we were a bit like, what's going to happen? But we finished on that ward, and then Addy again was constantly being monitored, and again, it still wouldn't meet. Her blood pressure had gone down though, Callier's heart rate had relaxed. But they still had this inkling with twin two Axel, his umbilical cord. So they really they wanted to keep an eye on that, and we had a feeling we weren't going home.
Yeah, and they came with the scan and looked at them, and you know on Friday morning they said the thing seems all right. They're not distressed. And then at lunchtime, we had another doctor, you know, shifts changing, and she's going. She's looking at the data again and she's going, oh, I can see a drop of heart rate there. So one of the heart rates went to 20, was it? Or something
It
similar.
was like 30.
Yeah, it dropped and then it went back up. So something's not right. And she goes, I'm not very happy with that. I'm going to speak with a consultant. And Georgia went, I said, I had a feeling then. And I said, George, please go get the the hospital bags, the 2 suitcases that we got prepared and go get the second car seat because we had one attached already to the car. And she went and basically she was like, I'd say like 50, 40 minutes. And but like in the early afternoon after that, the doctor says like 3, 4 o'clock, she comes back and she says, right, we're gonna have to deliver tonight.
And I was like,
No, she didn't know yet. So she says, we're not happy with this. The heartbeats are dropping. So it's not right. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, George is just on the way back home, back to the hospital. It's just 5 minutes away. There's no need me telling her that I'm going to give birth tonight. And she'll just like
I'll just wait.
panic, you know what I mean? So she can wait 5 minutes, arrive here and I'll tell her. So don't want her to panic. She's driving and all that. So she's arriving and doctor is still there. She's just doing her notes and she's saying to Georgia, hi. Smiling, very relaxed again. Oh, I got a bit upset because they told me we're going to deliver today and we're going to do tonight. I'm going to do C-section in a few hours, she said. I did never plan to have C-section. I wanted to give birth naturally through vaginally with an epidural, and I never really looked into C-section and knew what to expect. Well, I did know what to expect, but it's different when I do my own research and know because the unknown scares me.
Plus, it was very early. Like, we already knew 37 weeks was early, but obviously that's what you have to do for twins. But she was more concerned with the fact it was even earlier. It was like 34 weeks, so we were just a bit like, away. So another thing as well that was worth noting was the fact that not only were the babies showing signs of distress in the womb and stuff with their heart rates going down, when you're on the monitors, it also shows, like, you know, when they call it Braxton Hicks. So Addy was constantly getting these Braxton Hicks at home, and they said that's normal during this period of the weeks that you're in during pregnancy. But in the hospital, they were coming as well, but they were getting really painful. And usually it's just like for a minute or so, but they were continuous. But she wasn't in labour or anything, so we had like doctor come in or a surgeon come in, whatever, and they'd do a check. They'd check inside and everything, open up, like having a look at her cervix to see anything. There was no signs of basically labour starting, but she was getting these. And on the monitor, it was also showing the drops, which wouldn't usually show as like a lot continuously. Usually they would be like a little bit more, you know, fewer, but these were like constant. So that's what they were also concerned about, and the fact that her womb was constantly contracting, and that's what was making the babies very stressed because of that, as if like, I'm coming out now, basically.
Yeah. I forgot about that because so much happened and I was drugged for the last 10 days, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so that was another thing and I wasn't feeling it, which was very strange.
At times she
I had a bit of pain, but
there was a day where you were like quite badly in pain.
okay.
And it wouldn't go away.
It was taking my breath away, yeah. So let's go back to it. So after that, Georgia arrived and the doctor said, we're delivering in 1 or 2 hours, C-section. And Georgia's like, yeah, right, okay, yep, okay.
No, I shouted at first, what? What are you talking about? No, and then they were like, yeah, still having a conversation with Addy, and I was like, no, wait, are we delivering now? And they're like,
yes, you're moving.
We're moving you now to the to this other ward, the delivery suite we were going to.
I don't know whether it was transitional care or delivery suite.
No, I think it was the delivery suite. So we packed up, moved again.
We don't move there.
We did.
There only for pre-ops.
Well, in fact, no, we didn't go to the delivery suite. We ended up in this other ward. It was like any of them. I can't really remember. It was all muddled.
Neonatal also.
We ended up there, packed all of our stuff up and everything, started. They hooked us back up on the monitors.
And they said, okay, we're going now. And then we went to the delivery suite pre-op. So I had my 2 cannulas on. This one didn't work, so they put it there, and I'm screaming in pain. I'm saying this hurts way too much. And I'm literally in the pre-op room waiting. I've seen the doctor. The doctor came and said, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. C-section, don't worry. We had to, sign up for because I didn't have epidural, I had spinal. Agree with the spinal, what's the risks, read me, all the document that you meant to sign. And I turned around and said to the doctor, well, do I have a choice? As if I could not sign it. And he's laughing and goes, no, no, not really. These babies have to come out. So
But we have to sign it.
we have to sign it, of course. So there's us and new midwife, and she's the new nurse, and she's doing my cannulas, and we're waiting. And it's getting to 8, 9 o'clock. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to give birth, I'm going to give birth, I'm going to give birth. I'll be petrified.
It's worth noting though that the consultant that came in as well said, listen, we don't want to do like a 4 o'clock job in the morning.
Yeah.
So she said, if it does get to that point, I'll be letting you know, and we won't basically do it tonight because you'll be exhausted, babies will be exhausted, well, mainly Addy. And right now, looking at the monitors, the babies were kind of steady. They were
fine,
doing
yeah.
all right from what they were seeing.
heartbeat
So
was
they said, if it does get to that point, we'll just do it tomorrow. But we were just like, okay. But she said, we're still doing it tonight for now. Just keep it like that. But
Just hold fire because of the emergencies. Few emergencies came in that Friday. It was mad in the hospital.
point, it hit emergency to emergency to emergency, continuous. And we knew it was an emergency because you constantly heard the alarms and we just go, here we go again. Here we go again. So in the end, we finally lost it.
At 12 o'clock, I said, literally, I'll discharge myself in a minute. So, wait, now at 12 o'clock, I said, can you just put us back on the ward? Because I was in this delivery table laying down. Georgia didn't even have a bed or anything. It was just a chair because this is not like to stay there. This is like pre-delivery kind of room. It was very, very uncomfortable. And I'm still on these monitors, like completely strapped up. Well, they were actually wireless, but it was just up to here. And you just want to rest. And I've got 2 babies that are like, not very happy in my belly. And they said, oh, okay, well, that's fine. We'll move you back to the other ward. You have to give us a chance, to find your bed. And we're like, okay.
In the end, though, they didn't manage to find us a bed. We ended up staying in the delivery
They got you a
suite.
bed.
They managed to get me a foldy bed. So we were made up because I thought, oh my God, I'll actually get a bed after these amount of days that we've been in. We'll be able to sleep. And they said, you'll be staying in here for the night. And then from there, in the morning, we will get you in to start delivering. So we were like, that's perfect. At least we'll be able to rest. So we finally fell asleep. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, we were getting kicked out, basically. They came in and they went, hi, Adelina, you're going to have to be moved. We're putting you back onto the ward. We're going to be monitoring you. We need this room for another person, basically another emergency. So we were just like, oh my God.
You just told us who's staying here.
We've had I had 2 hours sleep or whatnot. I don't know what it was. So we were just bouncing our heads at this point, which is what we wanted to do. We understand there's an emergency, so that's why we decided at like 12 o'clock, like, listen, put us back on the ward so that you're not thinking like, oh, we need to put them in or we need this. Like, the babies are fine, you have just said. We don't want to feel like, we're just waiting around, and we understand people who are worse need to come first. But it was just the whole setup of that part. We were just like, oh my God. So finally, when we get put back on the ward, we finally fall asleep. 6 o'clock in the morning, Addy wakes up and a midwife comes in and puts the monitors back on.
I have to put you on the monitors. I'm like, okay then.
But we were happy with that because we needed to see how they were getting on.
And we knew that they're going to deliver it soon.
But when we didn't know, like obviously that day, but we didn't know. So they finally come on and everything and they're working, and then notice again a drop. But like another drop drastically, like 30 to 30, both of them heartbeats. And then they go to 40, 50.
The doctor shows up.
And then next minute, the midwife goes, okay, I'm just going to have to go and run and speak to the consultant. In the end, it turned out it wasn't just the doctor, it was the surgeon that came down, the lady. She came in. Another consultant came in with her. And then a midwife came in. And she's like, well, okay, hi, Adelina. Da, 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 da. Meanwhile, Addy's just
going to have to deliver these babies.
She's like, I'm not going to concern you and think you're anything like that, but we're doing it now. And we're like, what?
You're going to be a mummy soon. And me and George are like...
So first of all, she starts to do examinations on her of like checking whether or not she's actually in labour, like checking her cervix and stuff. She wasn't, so that was good. But she was very, very concerned by the fact of how in distress these babies were at this point. Mm-hmm. And we kept saying to them, like, well, why didn't this get done last night rather than now? Like, it's a big thing and they're in stress now. This could have been done. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway, so...
They came in.
And at that point, I just get start... with the bed, I just get...
Wheeled.
wheeled with the bed, start going straight away. We're going now.
We're both in our
And
pajamas.
they're rolling me down the corridors, and everyone is like, "Good luck, good luck." I felt like 100 people around my bed, and I'm like, "Ah,
By this point, it was about 7:30 in the morning.
yeah, if not 8."
It has to make you aware though as well as we're going down the corridor. We'd already been told that we're gonna have like 20 to 30 people in the surgery with us due to the fact they were twins. So we were like, that's fine. But as we're going down the corridor, they're all following us. There's like one big train of people all coming in.
many people.
And we're just like, what's going on?
So many people. So
Addy
it
got
was.
taken in. I got thrown with like aprons.
It was
hairnets, and they're
emergency, like.
put it on, put it on. And I'm like, what do you do with these? Like, you're in shock. I finally get given them. A woman's like, here you go, I'll put these on you. Then she's like, do you have your phone for pictures and stuff like that? And then next minute, I'm like, no. And she's like, what room are you in? I'm like, I wouldn't be able to tell you. We got moved at 3:00 in the morning. So she's like, come on, we'll go and find it. Me and her ended up running around the hospital, managed to find the phone and came back in. And then Addy's experience was...
And me at this time, I'm expecting Georgia's behind my bed and running with me.
I wasn't.
No, Georgia's getting dragged to do something else. And I'm sat on this table. I get like 30 questions per second of all the doctors and anesthesiologists. And we're going to do this. Now I'm like, wait, don't do that. Spinal's coming. We sprayed that. My cannula didn't work. As I said to the lady, it's hurting too much. It's not right. So I had to have another cannula there for all the liquids that you get through the operation. You see, I've never been through anything like that. So I'm a bit shocked. Everything's happening like that, in seconds. Everyone's like, you're doing well. Where is your wife? How are you? Is this, that? Is that? And I'm like, where is she? Where is she? These are gonna do me spinal, and I'm petrified of this because needle in your spine is not the best thing you could have. Bend a bit more, can't this? Then he's like, I think he touched a bit of nerve. My legs jump, and I'm screaming and this, and I'm like, oh my god! And
it's worth noting though, when I came in, just before she was getting it done, they sat her up and she had to put her chin to her chest, and she sat like this. And when I was sat there, I just like took one look and I was like, are you okay, Ad? Like, are you okay? Like trying to, I could tell. And at this point, after everything that had happened, she told me that they were like, where's your wife? And she's like, where is my wife? When I came in and asked her, she was nowhere there. She was just completely out of it. She was like, wait, don't do that. Don't do this. Wait, I'm not ready.
Well, the thing is, I imagined throughout my whole pregnancy that George will be next to me in these moments. And then when I couldn't find her anywhere for like 2-3 minutes, I was like, right, you have to deal with this.
That point,
You have to deal with this. And then I'm like, I have to do this on my own. Just breathe. And then she showed up. But when she showed up, I was like, I don't care now. I'm in my space.
Yes.
I don't care about anyone else. I'm giving birth to 2 babies, yeah? And then by the time I like stop feeling, there she is. Stop feeling my little legs. There she is. Make a noise. You tell them. You tell them. By the time I stopped feeling everything, and I was down, and Georgia's trying to calm me down and stroke my head, and I could barely feel anything. They're like, "Can you feel this?" I'm like, "Oh, I was bit." And she is. There she is, our queen. By the time I realized what's going on and saying, "Oh my God, I can feel that," and they're like, "Well, you can't really feel that because this is literally like we're touching you with the sharpest thing and you can't feel it." So in like 3 minutes, I could hear the first cry, and I couldn't believe that's our child already out. And this was Winkle, yeah, as you've seen, little Winkle.
Her name's not Winkle, by the way. It's Kalia, but we call her Winkle.
She just makes us laugh. She makes us smile. Well, both of us makes us smile.
Mr. Axel, on the other hand, is the cutest little boy ever. He's got the most cutest little face, but I'm not picking him up right now because he's settled. He's asleep. This one right now is struggling with a lot of wind, so I just try and get her up to calm her down. And when you sit her up like this, she's chilled out. Happy. Yes.
But we've heard the first cry. That was at 8:25. Our little princess was born. And we've got lovely pictures from whoever managed to take pictures for us and videos. They've done an amazing job.
She was amazing.
And a minute later, He was born 8/26. Our beautiful Axel, gorgeous little boy, was born, and he was like singing the whole room out, wasn't he? What was he doing?
He was like, ah, ah, ah. They did say though that's him probably clearing his lungs because
Yeah,
it's not
the
a
water.
vaginal birth, it's coming out this way. So when you're coming out vaginally, the babies tend to get like, let's just say squashed, and they're like, and they get rid of it. They manage
Yeah.
to get rid of all like a lot of the gunk through their lungs. But when they get pulled out through a C-section, it can be a little bit harder for them. So that was probably it. That's what we were getting told. Eventually, he calmed down, but we were laughing because he was just singing the entire surgery down.
They got Callie out and cut the umbilical cord from me. Left it long though, but cut it off.
they did a delayed
They put her in Georgia stop, so skin to skin, and they wrapped him up and put him here next to me, and he's like, stop making that noise, and I just got so so emotional, and I'm like, just take them and make sure they're well. Take them. So then at this time, George is like cutting the umbilical cords, and she said it's the best experience ever. And Georgia goes, I didn't know what was going on after they were out and we cut the umbilical cords. I was thinking, are we done now? And I'm thinking, yeah, we're not done. They still need to stitch me back up and clean me and, sort me out because I'm still on that table. But that was it. Literally after that, I got rolled down to the room and my journey through morphine and painkillers started. But these two were then doing great. We got admitted to this room that had a little flood in the sink because the sinks are electrical in the Liverpool women's, and they don't stop on their they stop on their own and start on their own for so many minutes, seconds, and this thing just did not stop, and we had a little flood, so we had to get moved from this room. We dressed him and all that was great, and then in an hour we found out their glucose was very low, very very low, 0.8, and his was 0.1. So they both got admitted straight away to the Nicu unit, and they were both in incubators. I think he got put on oxygen for a day or two overall. She got out of the NICU in 36 hours, but he stayed there about 4 or 5 days. They both gone through jaundice, and he had jaundice twice. It actually crippled back on him.
After they checked it on the rebound, both of them.
Yeah.
His was fine, his wasn't. The only issue why he had to stay in was because he was having issues with his sugar levels. So they kept asking, like, did mum have any issues during pregnancy? In terms of like maybe showing signs of diabetes and stuff, which she didn't necessarily have it all the time, but she had it on odd occasions where she started to have glucose in her wee and stuff like that. So they said that could probably have been the reason, like, not on her fault, it could just happen when you're pregnant. So
It's called pregnancy diabetes,
for him
and it
to
happens.
try and regulate his was a little bit harder. They said it can take time when they come out. So what they did was they put him on glucose on a drip and stopped his feeds. And then they gradually pulled him down, but they did that, and then they noticed there were signs with his oxygen, they were dropping. So they had to put oxygen in, and then they realised that was something to do with his sugars again. So they had to put his sugars back up again. And then once his sugars went back up again, they could take him off the oxygen. So they said, what we're going to have to do is wean him down even slower. So they weaned him down even slower on the glucose and then gradually adding in a feed every so often. And before we knew it, the little rascal was with us again. He was reunited with his little family.
Oh, we really missed him. It was really difficult having to go and visit him. And we couldn't go and visit him all together until his sister got off the jaundice lights.
Incubator.
In the lights.
Yeah, well, the incubator with the photo stuff.
Did we go to visit him when she was incubated?
No.
No.
Put her in the Consgrad eventually.
So she had to come off the lights because even on the lights, she was next to us in our bed. I mean, in the incubator, but just under the lights. And we couldn't visit him then. I mean, I could visit him and Georgia could visit him, but not all together. And that really broke our hearts because we couldn't, like, be all together. But once she was off the lights and she was well, we constantly got to visit him. And We did skin to skin together, and
Put them both together as well.
both together.
So much.
It helped him so much to be with his family.
Stayed so steady. They weren't dropping at all. They just steady. They even went higher than normal. And we were just like, oh my God, we need to keep doing this. So we kept coming back for the next 2 days or something like that. And eventually they were like, do you know what? He's fine.
Yeah, it did take a while, and he really broke us, but we stayed strong, and he really, really pushed through. And so he came join us, and after a few days, we got signed off. We stayed in hospital 9 days, which was amazing for twins, and twins that are born 34 weeks and 6 days. Everyone was amazed.
Before the babies were
Well, we're talking about from 27th when they were born, but I was there 11 days, we got admitted. But he was born 5.4.
5.4 pounds.
Yeah, and she was born 5.8.
5'8".
In kilograms, she was born 2 kilograms 650, and he was born 2 kilograms 450. He's waking up now. The next feed is a half one. And now we've been at home for a few days. We got discharged on 6th of May. And they got weighed yesterday, and they're finally meeting their good weight above birth weight. And they're eating very well. But mommy are very, very tired.
Not as tired as I expected I would be, because of the fact I know it's 3-hourly feeds constantly.
Let me get it as well.
With the 3-hour feeds constantly, we expected like, oh God, we'll be shattered, which we are in the middle of the night. But we've noticed you feed them, and then you're going back to sleep straight away in between because you're shattered, and then you feed them again on the next 3-hourly, and then you're going back to sleep again. So you kind of finding the balance. Your sleep's completely broken, but by the time we add it up, we've probably had about 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours split, but still we feel a bit fuzzy headed. But I'm not gonna lie, it's all worth it. They are absolutely phenomenal. You can't get over it. Here's Mr. Axel. He's gorgeous. And you know what as well? Here's another thing. We could never imagine just having one.
No.
Like, honestly, like, okay, yeah, people have one. We could have ended up with one or anything. But knowing that you've got these two, they're just perfectly suited together. Like, he's so calm, keeps her relaxed. But you know that she'll always protect him.
Oh, yeah.
Being the big sister.
And they need each other, which we love.
Yes, they definitely do need one another. So, here's to our little family so far. We'll definitely be keeping you updated
No, she's so cute.
on our journey. But we definitely wanted to just keep you updated on what happened so far, because we know we hadn't posted for a while. We've been in the hospital for way too long.
We hated that hospital stay. It's so difficult in the hospital. And the weather was lovely out there, but, you know.
But it's definitely worth noting, though, that people were just amazing in the hospital. So
Oh, yeah.
here's to our next journey.
Subscribe
So bye
because it's
from us.
free. We love you.
Bye.